The brewing day began when the fresh Galaxy hops were delivered to the brewery and stored in the cool room, awaiting their role in the brewing process. John is confident that this year's brew will be unique, and it's the special brewing process that will ensure its success.
Well, the heart of any brewing operation really starts with the ingredients, and we're using, in this case, malted barley, and this is the main ingredient used in beer. The first thing we've got to do with malted barley is to break the grains open. We do that in a process called milling, and the output of that milling is a crushed grain which is known as grist. That grist is then mixed with hot water in a process called mashing, and this is the first really crucial step in the brewing operation. We've got to get the mix right, the consistency of the malt and the water, and also the temperatures have got to be right at that stage. So it's a real critically important part of the operation for us. That mashing process enables the starch which is present in the grain to be converted into sugar, and it's the sugar that will then carry on through the fermentation process and end up as the finished beer. So you can see how important this step is. The sugar solution that's created in this process is called wort, and the wort is separated from the now spent grains by a process called lautering. So the whole mix, the porridge-like mixture that we've created, is pumped across into a vessel called a lauterton. It's a German word, and it's really like a giant sieve, and it allows us to leave the spent grains behind and to run the wort into the next stage of the operation, which is the boiling kettle, or the wort kettle. And this is where the hops will be added, the various gifts of hops that we will give to this beer are added at that stage. The worts will then be boiled for about 90 minutes. The hops, as I say, will go in various stages. We put the bittering hops in at the start. In this case, it'll be Pride of Ringwood hops, which is a bittering hop which is widely used in Australia and certainly used in a number of other beers, including Crown Lager. We'll then later on during the boiling process and towards the end of it, we'll be adding the green Galaxy hops, which will give that unique flavour to this brew and will help to capture that sort of freshness and that we hope we've gathered in the hop gardens along with the hops. After that, the wort is run into a separation device which is called a whirlpool, rather like stirring a cup of tea or something like that, and it enables us to settle out the sediment and the parts of the hops that we want to leave behind at the bottom of the whirlpool, and the hot wort is then run out through a chilling apparatus into the fermenter. At that stage we're going to add the yeast in a technique known as pitching. The yeast will ferment the sugars that we've obtained during the mashing process and convert that into beer. There are various things going on in the fermenter at that stage. The yeast is working to turn those sugars into carbon dioxide and alcohol, so the alcohol remains in the beer, as does some of the carbon dioxide to add the sparkle, and some of the carbon dioxide is allowed to evaporate off to atmosphere. The yeast is also at that stage creating a number of other flavour compounds in the beer, and being a strong beer, the development of those flavour compounds is going to be more than it would be in a beer at, say, 5% alcohol. So it's enriching the flavours and developing the flavours during the fermentation process. It's far from being a one-man operation. Obviously we have a team of people who contribute to the production of this beer, right through from picking the hops and selecting the ingredients through the process. We have Mick Jontef, who is very central to this beer and this brewing process, and Kate Anderson as well, who assists us on the brewing days. Mick has got about 36 years of experience in beer development and in brewing special beers, and that's proved invaluable in the creation of this particular process. We feel about this beer that it's like having a baby. You know, you've created a being, created something that is going to go on and have a life of its own. And this beer is Some of it may be drink immediately, but a lot of it is going to be kept for a long time, I guess, for special occasions, etc. So we know that we've created something which is enduring and will go on to have a life of its own, pleasing people down the years.